Welcome to Parev TV. On April the 8th of this year, a month ago, philanthropist and visionary Hirair Hovnanian passed away at the age of 90. Joining us today is his daughter, Adele Hovnanian, to help us get to know her dad better. Adele, once again, I've been thanking you so many times. Once again, thank you for joining us. In one of your emails, Adele, to me, you wrote that your dad was a very private person. You also said that many people really do not know much about you. What we do know about your dad is the tip of the iceberg, maybe, and the greater part of it remains and maybe will remain submerged for a while. All I know is there was a president and father of sons, president of the Armenian Assembly. He made donations to hospitals, to schools, supported Armenia after the earthquake in the past 30 years, built a church in Yerevan dedicated to your mom, and the list goes on and on and on. The list is Hirair's attempt to make the world a better world for fellow Americans and Armenians. Adele, what is it that we do not know about your dad, who was a son, who was a husband, who was a father, a grandfather, a businessman, an Armenian, a philanthropist? What would you like to share with us that's very important for you that we know?
He was a very proud American. He was very proud of his adopted country, but he was Armenian through and through. And he always felt that there was more that he could do, and he had great visions of what potentially the country could become. And in all honesty, there were times where he was disappointed with what he had hoped Armenia would be by now and where it was today. And he had his share of failures in attempting in the early days, in the early 90s, to do innovative things like get Armenian access to a port in Georgia, to developing the oil and gas industry in the southern part of Armenia, so that Armenia would have a natural resource and become relevant in geopolitically. And he was always disappointed that those two things never happened, because he thought that they were keys to Armenia's future. But he is a believer that anything is possible. And, our hope is, as a family, that with his giving his entire net worth to the foundation, that ultimately in his name and my mom's name, we will be able to do good work and honor him the way that I know that he deserves to be honored.
When you say he was disappointed, he wanted to do more. We all want to do more. But what was he proud of being able to accomplish? You mentioned that what frustrated him. What was he able to do that he was very proud of?
Well, I mean, he obviously, the Armenian Assembly was a very big part of his Armenian leadership experiences. And he was very proud of the fact that, notwithstanding the fact that Turkey and Azerbaijan spend 10, 20-fold what Armenian Assembly was able to spend, that we were able to make sure that Congress was always aware of the Armenian point of view on things. And my only regret is that he did not live to see an American president use the word genocide in their announcement. And, our feeling is that, Dad was up in heaven and he whispered in Biden's ear, and he made it happen. And so he also, I think, was very proud of the fact that, I think he was proud of the fact of how Armenian his children are, and even his grandchildren are very, very Armenian. It wasn't something he forced upon us. It was something that we chose, perhaps to honor the intense Armenian feeling within the Hovnanian family. I think that as a general rule, he was proud that, that he could establish a foundation of such substantial size. I think if I do my job right, it should be about $500 million to allow the future of Armenia to be secured through philanthropy in his name. And I think that was a very proud accomplishment. I mean, at the end of the day, my father was all about dollars and cents, and establishing a large foundation like no one else has ever done, solely by one Armenian, I think is something he's very, very proud of. And I think he's also very proud that in addition to passing on to the second generation, which is me, I think he was very proud that his grandson, Gor Sahakyan, is being mentored by me to carry the torch. And so he felt very secure that the family would continue to in his name and mom's name to do good work for Armenia. So
Adele, you mentioned so many times that his children and grandchildren are proud Armenians, and that is really something we all know about. His children, Siran, Adele, Armen, Tanya, Lila, his two sons-in-laws, Toros and Levon, and 5 grandchildren. Tell me about the grandchild. You mentioned the name. How old is he?
Gor is, I believe he's 28.
Wow.
And he's been working in the family business now for 3 years. And I am mentoring him just like I was fortunate enough to be mentored by my dad. I believe that there's no doubt in my mind, he will carry the torch. In fact, next week when we're going to Armenia to do our initial due diligence on expanding our foundation activities, he's coming with me. Obviously, he's been to Armenia many times. His father is a Yerevansi, but he's going there with the eye of starting to see Armenia as a place that he is now going to be responsible to ensure that the programs we do there are impactful. And he's very excited about learning more about what the foundation does there.
Adele, whenever your name is mentioned among close friendly circles, it's Birthright Armenia. It really stands out. It's a shining star. And I'm not complimenting you. The fact is there for people who know about that. Tell me, how successful was it? And how do you see it helping Armenia?
When I graduated from college, was very frustrated that I did not know how to speak Armenian well. In the house, we spoke some Armenian, but my mother is an American-born Armenian. And so when she was dealing with 5 young children, she spoke in English. So my Armenian was not very strong. And so I decided before I, went into the career in investment banking to spend a year in Soviet Armenia. And that experience transformed me as a person and as an Armenian. I learned to define myself beyond what it means to be Armenian within the diaspora. And I really got to know the people there because I lived with them for a year during difficult, challenging times. And so I had decided that one of the things that I would do once I had been able to financially support it was to develop an experience to allow young people to have the same kind of immersion experience. Everyone does the tourist thing. Everyone goes with their school trips for 10 days, but to immerse themselves by living with families, learning the language, working there in offices side by side with people, and learning to understand it from the inside out instead of seeing it from the outside in. And for me, when I was in a position to do that, and obviously we all know about Birthright Israel, I wasn't in a position to do it on that scale, but we started it some 15 some odd years ago. I'm very, very proud of it. And this new generation of future leaders is amazing. In all honesty, one of our saddest days recently was the end of that 44-day war and the outcome. Yet what it did was it called to action all of these 20-year-olds and 25-year-olds who for some reason, knowing that they probably can't do much, it's still in the middle of COVID, we're jumping on planes. And I think that 2021 will be by far our highest numbers, which I find surprising because obviously COVID is still a huge concern worldwide. But it's really inspirational to see these diasporan leaders, diasporan young people who will be our future leaders from, 50 countries. It's just amazing to go to Armenia, live with local families, learn the language, and slowly we are seeing a very impressive repatriation stage. Not, I don't say repatriation, but those who are willing to live in Armenia for a few years beyond their program, because I think they have the potential to make a huge difference and give some hope to the people of Armenia. And I adore it. And I know my dad was very, very proud of it.
You know, you speak about inspirational. Only last night, I was with a family who's connected to another family in Palestine. And we have two Armenian families in Palestine. And the elder daughter went to Birthright Armenia, experienced that experience. And now the second one next week is getting ready to spend 3 months in Armenia, 3 months in Gyumri. And what I'm trying to say is the excitement in the family, in the whole neighborhood, and the way Birthright Armenia is being mentioned. This is 24-karat gold, honest joy that is brought to Armenian families and reinstills in them the Armenian spirit, and getting people who did not know any Armenian language or culture or never been to Armenia. And there you are being praised for your work. So I don't know what else you want to hear about how successful the program is, but it is truly a shining star. Adele, there are many things we all want to do for Armenia and Armenians. What is one thing you definitely, or a couple of things you definitely want achieved or realized that you would like to bring to the attention of the listening audience?
Oh, wow. You know, I mean, I think that we're all hoping that we can have a government that inspires us, that we can trust. And I'm not getting political. I have no strong opinions about who leads Armenia. But I think that as Westerners, we're looking for a country that as Armenians in the diaspora, I think we're exemplary. We're honest people. We work hard. We're solid families. And most Odars, when they meet an Armenian, always tell you about an amazing other Armenian successful family they know. And I think that we as Armenians want to point to Armenia and say it's a shining star. It's the best of us. And I don't think Armenia is there yet. You know, it has its challenges. You know, it's surrounded by enemies. It doesn't have a port. It doesn't have natural resources. But there is inherently in the young people in Armenia a drive to be more and do it better. And so for me, any role that I can play to inspire the young generation, whether it's supporting programs, we do the Fulbright program for anyone who wants to study in the United States in STEM. We want to expand that. We want to really promote education. We want to see what we can do in terms of allowing the new generation to develop those leadership skills, to be able to be the future Armenia we all want it to be. I think many of us, including you, Vartan, we had hoped by now, it's been, 30 plus years, we'd hoped by now Armenia would have been that crown jewel. It's not there yet. Mm-hmm. But there were signs of it in 2019. I felt like the tide was turning, and you could sort of really see the world awakening to Armenia's potential, and the people were starting to believe in themselves. I think COVID really took us down a notch. I think the war really devastated us. And so, although as a foundation, I can't be involved in things like ensuring the security of Armenia and things like that, we are looking at doing some philanthropic projects in terms of infrastructure around the border to secure things like water and irrigation, and to ensure that the water within Armenia stays within Armenia, and things that we can do under our IRS rules and regulations. And that's, I think I'm going to Armenia next week to talk to our staff and talk to people that I respect to get ideas, because it's, we will be giving away about $10 to $15 million a year. And right now there's just not enough worthwhile programs in Armenia for us to fund. And so we're going to be developing new programs like Birthright, and running them ourselves, to absorb a part of that annual commitment we've made.
Adele, each generation is defined by its leadership, and you are really defining this generation through your leadership. And this is a compliment and something that comes from the heart to you. You know, I was thinking what to say, something different. We all say the same thing and repeat ourselves. But I was the other day looking at a picture of 4 presidents who are carved on Mount Rushmore National Memorial. George Washington, I'm sure you know, Thomas Jefferson, Abe Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt. And the reason I'm bringing these 4 because the Hovnanian brothers are 4 of them: Hirair, Vahag, Kevork, and Hirair. And I really, really think if I had my way one day, if I had the money necessary, I would hire an artist to carve Mount Arakat or Mount Ararat with the images of these 4 brothers to represent the diaspora. I mean, really, they've done their share in bringing our people, pushing us forward. And in closing, Adele, what else can you add? Just a wrap up, because we can go on forever.
Obviously everyone always talks about the 4 brothers.
Yes.
I loved my uncles very much, but I think that it's important that people understand that Hirair was unique. Every brother had their special projects and their special approach. I mean, my godfather, Vahag, he was the fun-loving one. Everyone knew him, very social, a joie de vivre that was incomparable and contagious. But my father was very private. He was very serious. He liked only to have conversations about serious things. And so, often people just blur the Hovnanians together. And I really do. The reason I agreed to this interview was that I want to slowly let the world know how unique my father was. He was not just one of 4 very successful philanthropic brothers. They were all. But what my father, who was a true visionary, and he was very private, he, in my mind, he deserves to be a little bit more than just one of 4 great brothers. There were so many things that he did that I'm not going to go into that truly proved to me how uniquely visionary he was. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure that people understand that Hirair Hovnanian, although one of 4 great brothers, an amazing family, my grandfather was an amazing man too, but Hirair was special, and he deserves to be honored on his own, in his own name. And slowly we will find a way to let the world know a little bit more about him.
You might consider a photo exhibit that begins in Malatya, to Iraq, to America, to all these beautiful places, and how the whole Hovnanian dynasty really blossomed.
Well,
now,
I will tell you this, and if I say it out loud, it'll have to happen. I've made a commitment to myself. For 30 years, I've been yelling at my father to write a book about his life, and he never got to it. And then he got too old to do it. So I've committed that before the 1st anniversary of his death, I will publish a book about his life.
Bravo.
So
bravo. That will be great. Congratulations. Adele, I repeat, I really, really thank you for this interview. I think we should hear more about your dad, and what better source than the kids, you, to tell us more about very, very the private man. Thank you very, very much, Adele. Have a good day and all the best in all your future undertakings.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.